Live from Lulu's kitchen, it's Wednesday on Geeks of the Week. Apologies again for crappy webcam quality and for wearing my Ramona wig 2 weeks in a row, but I'm actually going to be talking about comics again today, so this is actually relevant, so let's get to it. You're also probably watching this on Thursday because I'm filming this at 2 p.m. and won't be able to edit it until I get home from work at almost midnight, so I apologize for that, but not a whole lot else I can do. First, responding to my fellow geeks, Steph, I am le broke, so I will not be checking out any of the cool movie releases this week, Tears for Lulu, but I hope everybody who bought The Avengers or The Dark Knight Returns, I hope you are drowning in geeky happiness. Mario, thank you so much for answering my question and coming through on my request so awesomely. Just to get back to you on your response, I actually can't stand Hawkeye, which is a very big problem because my boyfriend loves him and I want to cosplay Black Widow. Yeah. I'd hit girl pretty much every time I've gone into my local comic book shops. And Harvest sounds like it could actually be right up my alley. Also, serious points for mentioning Shel Silverstein and Toy Story 3. You hit my childhood right in the Kokoro. As for my favorite Smashing Pumpkins song, I'm sure you know how hard a question that is, so you'd better tell me yours in response. But I always have to answer with Disarm, because back when I started listening to them, they were like the weirdest band I'd ever been into. I was like 13 years old, and it was really hard for me to get into their music. But Disarm really got to me, not just because it's a really beautiful song, but also because it reminded me of what Harry was going through in Order of the Phoenix, which had actually just come out. So that just kind of hit me. Both of those things at once just really got to me, and I have loved Disarm and the Pumpkins ever since. And to prove to you guys just how fangirly I actually am, I only started listening to the Smashing Pumpkins because they were the favorite band of one Mr. Elijah Wood, who I was totally obsessed with at the time. And I was a complete ringer back in the 7th grade. I was crazy. I'm not nearly as obsessed now, but the Pumpkins will always be a part of me. Also, thank you for knowing that was a Smashing Pumpkins shirt and not something else. Back in junior high, people kept buying the Zero shirts because they thought they were for a completely different band, and it was the absolute bane of my existence when I was in like the 8th grade. Like, it drove me insane. And I also have this, which is really hard to see, and as much as I love the series, I cannot tell you how much it irks me when people ask me if it's a Scott Pilgrim tattoo. And speaking of Lord of the Rings, Pyro, go watch LOTR before your next video. Your geek cred card just took a hit. Not to sound like a douche, because geek cred is a stupid and arbitrary thing, but seriously, go watch them. Just take a day, sit down for 9 hours with all the popcorn you can handle. Also, you should also totally go to AX next year so we can actually hang out. No, actually what would be better is if you went to Fanime, because that's the Geeks of the Week lovey-dovey breeding grounds, I guess. And I forgot what Nikki talked about. Oh yeah, I had to skip most of it because I still haven't watched Doctor Who. But she was really pretty, and your Supergirl cosplay looks great so far, so keep it up. Also, to answer my own question, and I'll try to not make it too long-winded here, what fandoms am I into now that I thought I'd never get into? The first that comes to mind is White Collar, because I'm absolutely obsessed with it now, but my boyfriend kept begging me to watch it, and he just wouldn't let go, and I finally gave in, and now I'm completely obsessed, and I'm making him wear a fedora all the time. And to bring it up again, Lord of the Rings is actually one of them as well. I read The Hobbit when I was really, really young and absolutely hated it. And so I was like really against Lord of the Rings when it first came out. And to be honest, I didn't really enjoy the books much either. Tolkien has an amazing imagination, but as a writer, I'm sorry, he just falls completely flat with me. But that's why I enjoy the movies so much, because there's none of the Sam and Mr. Frodo were walking around for days and days and days, and Sam gave up his food so Mr. Frodo could eat. Ugh. But yeah, like I said, I was a total ringer back in like 7th grade. I was obsessed with everything, like the Very Secret Diaries. Oh my god, I cannot believe I still remember those. Those were so dirty. I can't believe I read those when I was like 14. The internet is a scary place. But I think one of the biggest things for me is actually BlazBlue, because I resisted getting into it for quite a while, because it was my ex-girlfriend's first fandom after we didn't even break up. She just stopped talking to me and got an overweight dropout loser boyfriend instead of actually dumping me. Anyway, I really only associated BlazBlue with her and her moving on from me, so I really avoided it for a while. But of course, after my ex-girlfriend, most of the people I became friends with were guys, nerdy guys, who like fighting games. And this was the summer that Continuum Shift was coming out, so everybody's all about freaking BlazBlue. They were practicing on Calamity Trigger, waiting for the new game to come out. And I couldn't stop staring at how beautiful that game was. Like, I didn't even care about fighting games before then, but it was just such a beautifully designed game, and the music was so good, and just everything about it. I was like, I have to see what this game is all about. So then I learned how to play Rachel, and 3 years later, it's like my favorite game franchise ever, second only to Pokemon. I've actually been to a decent number of comic book shops for somebody who doesn't read this stuff very much, including Midtown Comics in New York City and Forbidden Planet in London. And while those shops are obviously bigger than the ones I'm able to frequent more often, they contain kind of the same elements. There's space for games, there's new releases along an easily accessible wall, there's toys and merchandise everywhere, the stores are just colorful and fun to be in, and they really just celebrate the joy that comes from being geeky. There's a store that's conveniently located near me. It's not the biggest or maybe the most impressive store, but I always enjoy stopping in to look around and see what's there. It's always busy, the staff always says hello to me, and they have a great selection of toys, and I just like going in to see what they get every week. So I stopped in another store that's also close by, but less convenient to get to, just to see if I was missing out on anything or if it was really any different. And the contrast was really astounding. The posters were faded, it smelled funny, the new releases weren't in an obvious location at all, it just wasn't very colorful. They had a bigger focus on some more offbeat titles, so they definitely have a niche customer base. But at one point, I was literally the only person in the store, and the only guy working there wouldn't even leave the counter to come talk to me. He did call out and ask if I was finding everything okay, so he did acknowledge that I was even there. But I would think that if a girl walked into your comic book store holding only her wallet and not even picking up anything and just looking, you would walk over there and make a comic book geek out of her. And like I said, the shop I normally go to is almost always busy, so I don't mind that they don't necessarily give me personalized, individual, special attention, but they always ask if I'm finding everything okay. They almost always greet me as soon as I walk into the store. It's so much friendlier there, and I'm just really, really thankful that they're so much easier for me to get to, because it really is a great little store. That's just great customer service, and not only is that great customer service, that's how you should run a comic book shop. You run it so that everybody from the hardcore bored and baggers to the shy anime kids want to buy stuff from you. Anyway, that's my little rant. I guess I can close with a little bit of good news. I have actually been contacted by Crunchyroll to represent them as a Crunchy, which means I'm sort of an ambassador light, but also means I could actually become a full-fledged ambassador someday. I'm really, really excited for this opportunity, and I'm really, really honored that they did get back to me. I'm really happy to be able to work for one of my favorite websites, and looking forward to all the awesome stuff that's going to bring in the future. I also want to sneak in a quick plug for Cosplay Shinko, the magazine that I'm working for. If you guys haven't checked it out already, please do. We are holding our first cosplay contest to figure out who we're going to put on the cover and make our featured cosplayer. So the link is below if you guys want to check that out. We have some really awesome stuff coming up, some really awesome announcements, and I cannot wait to share that news with all of you. But until now, please visit our Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Tumblr, and check out what's going on at the world's newest and greatest cosplay magazine. Until then, I love all of you guys. You are awesome. All of my love to the other geeks, to all of our viewers, and I guess I will talk to you guys next Wednesday. I'm pretty sure I love fictional characters more than real people anyway.